this is when the sun and the moon are conjunct in the sky, so they're quite close from our perspective. Briefly, we discussed the oracular power of the divine feminine, the more masculine side of her energy, the sense of expression. And the new moon is actually more receptive. And this week I have been stressing a bit, forcing myself to do things. And Scorpio is very good at sort of kicking you in the butt and saying it's time to receive. And so this new moon, as we come together and we manifest our dreams, it is good and healthy for us to be in this receptive mode so that we can attract and really step into what that means from this very divine feminine perspective. Because as we also discussed in the Scorpio event, this shadow space, this womb space, is where that energy is received and where it is created actively. So to actively create the life of your dreams, you must first receive and bring it in and gather it in. And who is this asteroid Lilith? In astrology, there are actually 3 aspects of Lilith, and many people refer to them as the triple moon goddess. So if any of you are familiar with that archetype, Lilith kind of swims in and out of this design when it comes to astrology. I decided to focus on the asteroid Lilith because it is the only physical aspect that we can actually see in the sky. So if you got out your telescope and went to searching, you could find Lilith in there. And this Lilith isn't actually named after the Lilith that we discussed in the previous session, right? This Lilith represents the teenager, the teenage rebel, the maiden aspect of the maiden, mother, and crone, which is the triple moon goddess. So we have this threefold divine feminine energy coming in alongside Scorpio, who, if you recall, is also kind of a threefold divine feminine essence with the eagle, the scorpion, and the phoenix. So we're being called to embody all the different dynamics of ourselves within this shadow space where it is entirely safe to do so. It is safe to be in your ego. It is safe to be in your body. Whatever extremes that you need to pull yourself into right now, allow yourself these things and allow yourself to be receptive. I love this quote from Rumi. It depicts the new moon perfectly when he says, "She teaches us gradualness and deliberation and how one gives birth to oneself slowly." And I love that because you are essentially giving birth to yourself when you are reborn. You're not just going through the womb of earth, you are also the womb. So there's this paradox that we might feel, this discomfort. How do I birth myself forward? How do I bring myself? How do I create myself? And with the asteroid Lilith and Gemini, we're stuck in this teenage rebel, it can be a little uncomfortable. And we might want to babble ourselves into oblivion because Gemini is very talkative. Gemini is Mercury. Gemini is the throat chakra. So there's this sense of communication that we want to express. But Scorpio is saying, listen, because that's also the part of your throat chakra that is important, is to just listen and be with it and listen to yourself, listen to those around you, the people, the spirits, the animals, the trees, all of it. Listen and allow yourself to slow down, to breathe, and to be deliberate as you transform yourself. It's not going to just happen overnight. This is a process of 9 months and counting. That's the first juicy aspect of this forecast. A lot of working with Scorpio can get kind of stuck in the throat or stuck in even the deepest roots. And so this is kind of bringing it more in the middle here in the heart space. With this new moon in Scorpio, it's almost directly opposing Uranus retrograde in Taurus and our sense of stability and sanctity and groundedness in our bodies. So we're really being called now to face our fears and to make light of them, to keep our bodies light as possible and ground our being in present time. I have been so grateful for the magic course coming out this week because the timing is just absolutely divine, because we're being given these practical methods of ritual that teach our bodies how to remember our spirit, essentially, because our spirit never forgets, but the body forgets. And so it's nice to do these rituals to remind ourselves that the sacred is everywhere. It's a great time to start new rituals, to start new habits, especially with this new moon in place, because in the new moons, we often, we make intentions for the next upcoming cycle. And so as we do this, consider incorporating some very physical routines and rituals into your process and honor those which you have carried through also. Sometimes it really is just that simple. And then this quote depicts this perfectly, in my opinion. If you're depressed, you're living in the past. If you're anxious, you're living in the future. If you are at peace, you're living in the present. And so there's this idea with this lovely spaceman staring off into oblivion, right? Into this bright future that we might not be able to see. And in that way, we're looking into the unknown. And then the past, you could say, is sort of this darkness. It's that more shadow aspect of looking in the past, looking also kind of at the unknown, because there's the sense of you can't change the past. Either way, you feel out of control. And so the way to step back into your power, to step back into control, into your magic, is to be in the present time. And I just love that, because it all exists in the now anyway. And that's what we're learning and discovering with this magical unfolding. And the dynamic here between Scorpio and Taurus really is find your magic in your body. Love your body. I personally love starting the day just like touching every part of my body, waking up all of it, and just loving her, you know? It's the little things. And I invite you to embrace all and everything that you can do for your body here and now as we slip into this space.